This part of the deep
We're
roads
back where
looks
we
familiar.
started. And in only 5 days. Not bad, eh?
Could we... slow down? I'm not feeling very well.
Let's make camp if you're sick.
I'll wager it was those deep mushrooms we found.
No.
Bethany!
It's the Blight. I can sense it.
I'll end up just like Wesley, won't I?
I'm not going to let that happen.
I'm not going to last until the surface. It's coming on faster.
There might be something we can do. I stole the maps from a warden that had come to Kirkwall. I wanted to know if he was looking for me. He wasn't. The maps were for planning their own expedition into the deep roads.
Does that mean the Grey Wardens are here?
If the Wardens are here, I know where. We could bring Bethany to them.
And do what? Become a Grey Warden?
Is this even possible? How does someone become a Grey Warden?
I can't tell you. But it's not something you can undo once it's done. Even if you want to.
This just keeps sounding better and better.
They might agree to it, however. That's if we can find them in time.
If there's even a chance, we must take it.
Then I hope I'm right.
What's wrong?
I think they're nearby. Or it could be Darkspawn.
Anders.
Fancy meeting you here, Stroud.
I could say the same. I thought you were through fighting Darkspawn.
I'm not here to fight Darkspawn. I came looking for you.
You mean the girl as a recruit? Of course you do. I'm sorry. I know this comes as no comfort to you, but we do not recruit Grey Wardens out of pity. It is no kindness.
You think it's kinder to let Bethany die from the Blight?
Sometimes it is. Yes.
Stroud, trust me when I say this one is worth your time. With the Blight over, you Wardens don't have recruits lining up.
This is no simple thing, Anders. This may be as much a death sentence as the sickness, and you know it.
She'll die anyway. Take her and try. I'm asking you.
Very well, I will try. But if I do this, then we are even. If the girl comes, she comes now, and you may not see her again. Being a Grey Warden is not a cure. It is a calling.
Are you sure about this?
wish it hadn't worked out this way.
We must move quickly if we are to make the surface in time.
Then, I guess this is it. Take care of Mother.
Home, sweet home. Finally. Oh, I wonder if Bartrand came back to the city. You think I'd be that lucky?
Luck hasn't exactly been our strong point so far.
This is true. I'm sorry about what happened to your sister.
She'll make it. Bethany's a strong girl.
I should have seen Bartrand's betrayal coming. I'll find that maggot if it's the last thing I do. I imagine you'll be heading home to, tell the family.
I don't have much choice.
You'll be a wealthy man, Hawk. It wasn't all for nothing.
Oh, my baby. You made it home. Bethany isn't with you?
No,
Is she coming back?
I don't know.
So the champion's sister was a Grey Warden?
Yes, but that's not the connection you're looking for.
Isn't it? The involvement of the Grey Wardens makes perfect sense. And the champion's companions? Merrill, Aveline, Isabella? That Warden Anders?
Don't remind me. I introduced them.
We thought they all came from Ferelden together, but now it makes sense. Motive and opportunity.
It's still not what you think.
Then I need to hear more.
Unless you've already decided. I can always go if you don't need me anymore.
Tell me what came next.
The treasure we found in the deep roads made us a fortune. The champion moved up in the world. Literally. Bought a mansion in Hightown. Everyone knew who he was now. Even the Viscount was taking notice. The Grey Wardens left Kirkwall. It was months before we learned Bethany survived. 3 years later, the Qunari still hadn't left. The Qunari insisted they were waiting for their ship. But some of us knew better.
Hello fellow gamers, here's Brigand 70. I would like to give you my review on the first chapter of Dragon Age 2 after about 10 hours of gameplay. The final of the chapter really had it all. 2 boss fights with a dragon and the ancient rock wraith. We saw a betrayal of Bartrand, Varric's brother, who left us to rot in the deep roads, and we had great family drama where we were robbed of our beloved sister Bethany, who almost died and now becomes a Grey Warden. If you recall, there are 3 possible outcomes for Bethany in this whole situation, and we choose the Grey Warden option, as Bethany is too great and nice a person to be left dead in the deep roads. If you were a mage, you would have to deal with Carver's fate instead. Carver is a dick most of the time, and many are tempted to take him along just to get rid of him, but certainly not so with Bethany. It would have been somewhat nicer to let her join the circle of mages, but if you are almost bound to choose the mage side in the final conflict of the game if you do so. The Grey Warden option leaves you much more freedom to choose sides. The end of the chapter was really great, but let's talk about the chapter in general and my impressions from 10 hours of gameplay. The voiceover for all characters is excellent. The characters are not only greatly voiced, they are also mostly greatly written with little to no cheesy lines of dialogue. It was the beginning of the game, that had the weakest writing and only modest graphics, which was a turn-off initially, if I am honest. I was too much expecting Dragon Age Origins and got something else I could not quite put my thumb on. I could not quite say, and still cannot say, what Dragon Age 2 is. Is it a RPG? Not so much in a typical sense. Too many things the die-hard RPG fans love are missing. Trade skills and item smithing is completely lacking in the way. Extensive item progression with your main character and your party members is a laugh and feels often unrewarding. Also, the stylized icons of equipment in your inventory is nothing that gets my love. No landscapes to explore, no freedom to roam around. Locations are repetitive in a copy and paste way and often stylized and empty. Combat is fast paced and initially fun, but in the hard fights you will eventually fail without pausing the game quite often, as the only heal spell in-game is on a 40-second cooldown. So fights are quite strategic in spite of flashy and fast animation. Another source of annoyment, especially in boss fights, is the group behavior. Your companions have a tendency to turtle around your main char. This is annoying as hell when enemies do a lot of area of effect spells. So you have to constantly order them to stay in place to avoid them clustering or running up in front of the boss because they are drawn to your main character. That were a lot of negative comments from me, but I just wanted to point out what is missing in the game and what make it somewhat inferior to Dragon Age Origins after my opinion. It is what stands between a great game and an epic. I think Dragon Age 2 would have greatly benefited from an additional year in game development. But what exactly is Dragon Age 2 then? I would say it's a character and story-driven action drama in a fantasy setting. That would maybe sum it up. This game is completely about story and character, and despite its shortcomings in many areas, this is where the game delivers. Where it outshines its flaws, its story is something you like, then Dragon Age 2 is very worth your time and money. But generally talking, the game is gripping. The first few years in Kirkwall play and feel well. You get introduced to most of your party members, get to know them better, as all have their personal quests and moments. The stage for the grand events to come is nicely set with foreshadowing story arcs. Dragon Age 2 starts slowly, but is surely getting momentum, and I can't wait to see what the next years have in store for me. I certainly recommend Dragon Age 2 in spite of its shortcomings and would give it 4 out of 5.